Salam! How are you, everyone? I hope everything is going good in every corner of the world. Today, we are going to learn Amharic alphabet, the Fidel.
This is where all the incense of Ethiopia exists. This is at Antara. This is the central bus station of Ethiopia. This station, as well as the village, is called Autobus Tara. This is where all the traditional clothes of Ethiopia exist. This is Shamatara. Are you looking for the impossible? Phased out materials, semi-components? This is where you will find it. This is Minalash Tara. This is where clay-related materials of Ethiopia exist. This is Shakla Tara. This is Berberi Tara. For anyone looking for pepper, this is the place to go to.
And this is ቋንቋ Tara. Until around 1917, 1918, Amharic Fidel was never officially prepared and distributed throughout the country and the world. It was mostly taught in church and some other very limited local entities. But around 1917 or 1918, a notable, respected person in the history of Amharic, Tasfa Gabrasillase the Behera Bulga, has prepared Amharic Fidel in a very organized, understandable, and compiled way and presented for the country as well as the world for basically anyone that wants to learn Amharic Fidel. Amharic Fidels are 34 in numbers, but these are basically just the frontliners. They have a whole family behind them that present the combination of the consonant in the frontliner with several other vowels. Now, this is not as complicated as it sounds, so we'll see around the end of the video all these family members, but these 34 are, in short, the consonants that exist in Amharic language. So let us see the pronunciation of these 34 Amharic Fidels. Ha, le, ha, me, se, re, se, she, ke, be, ve, te, che, ha, ne, nye, a, ke, he, we, a, ze, je, ye, de, je, ge, te, che, be, se, se, fe, pe. These are the 34 Amharic Fidels. In case I was too quick, you can maybe slow down the speed of the video and re-practice over and over again until you get used to the sounds. We're going to deep dive in some of the overwhelming ones. I know some of these might have gotten to you, but no worries, we're going to come to those. So it helps that you read it along with practicing with me, along with repeating it with me as well. So, remember last time on the last video when we went on and on and on about the influence of this older, graceful, really wise older brother of Amharic is language, and how much influence it has on Amharic language, especially the literary part. Well, let's see which of these fidels are from Ge'ez language. In case any of you did not get to see the video about the origin of Amharic and the influence of Ge'ez on Amharic, I'll put the link to the previous video on the description, so it helps if you see it, so you can understand Amharic from the cell, right? It's always good to learn something from the very, very, very absolute beginning. So it just gives you a basic historical background and some understandable language path, cascade Amharic has gone through. So check that video out. So coming back to the influence of Ge'ez. So how many of these Amharic fidels, the 34, does Ge'ez has an influence on, or how many of these are from Ge'ez? 26 of Amharic fidels are originally from Ge'ez. So marked green on the above chart, you will see that a majority of the Amharic fidel are originally from Ge'ez. So only 8 originated from other sources, 26 are from Ge'ez. So this shows the influence of Ge'ez is major, major, major. And even the ones that are not original Ge'ez sounds, like the others, right? Remember last time we talked about the Cushitic cousins? So Cushitic cousins, potentially other technologies that are coming into our country, our neighboring countries. I mean, we're in the world. We're in Africa, we're in the world. There are so many countries that we relate with in different aspects. We're living with the world. So it's only fair that we borrow or we invent relatable sounds with other countries in the world and with the languages that they speak. So the sources of these sounds could be from anywhere. Which of these sounds are from anywhere else? So the 8 sounds or fidels that are from other sources that are not originally Ge'ez are, as you can see, marked red on the above chart. And once again, still Ge'ez has an influence over these as well, because they're not like completely different. Their symbols as well as their pronunciations are extremely relatable to a certain Ge'ez fidel. So I put in an arrow so you can see the transition and how similar and relatable the fidels are, and we'll see the pronunciation a little later as well. So yeah, see, for example, se and she. Notice the pronunciation? Se and she. Very relatable pronunciation, I believe. And if you look at the symbol, it's only the hat thingy on she that differs between the two. So shape as well as pronunciation are extremely relatable, even for the additional 8 Amharic fidels. Same thing with be and ve. See the hat with that's suspended? Same thing with ta and che. Hat thingy again. Ne and nye. The hat again. Ka and ha. Another hat. Now, for a little bit of a different transition, ze and je. So this is more of a handle thingy on both sides that was added than a hat. But notice the pronunciation, ze and je. We're back to the hat, de and je. Now for the last transition, ta and che. This is more of an addition of wheels on the original Ge'ez fidel, but you can feel the explosive and fierce pronunciation of both the original Ge'ez as well as the eventually originated or invented Amharic fidel. So yeah, 26 originally from Ge'ez, 8 not originally from Ge'ez, but heavily influenced by a certain original Ge'ez Fidel or from potentially any other sources. Now that we know how many Fidels we have, which are from Ge'ez, which are not entirely from Ge'ez, I'm pretty sure a certain question is in your mind by now. Why are there duplicates like pronunciations, but there are different symbols for these? What is that? Why do we do that? It's ha. Why do we need 3 symbols of ha? That's usually a question that arises from my Amharic students. So I gotcha. So let's get started with the first 3 duplicates. We have 3 has. So this, once again, is the influence of Ge'ez language on Amharic. So in Ge'ez, a certain word pronounced the same could read different, resulting in a major meaning difference. You have no idea how major the difference is. It's not even a minor grammatical difference or something. It's a completely different. I'll give you an example. But in Ge'ez language, same pronunciation, same sound, but different symbol has a meaning difference to the word. Okay, but in Amharic, we still have the influence of Ge'ez. So a native eye prefers a certain symbol on certain words. Like for example, Addis Ababa. We have 2 as as you may have noticed. But if you write Addis Ababa in the circle a as opposed to the 2-legged a, oh my god, it's going to make such a big difference. It's going to sound like, oh my, what is that? A native eye will really be disturbed, right? So that's the influence of Ge'ez on Amharic to this day. But meaning-wise, if, for example, an Amharic beginner and I know both are as, I don't mind. If I just learned Amharic, I'm going to read it as Addis Ababa. It's going to read Addis Ababa. But because of Ge'ez influence, we still prefer certain symbols with certain sound, with certain words, right? But the 3 has, the 2 ses, the 2 as, and the 2 ses, they are completely similar in Amharic pronunciation. Now, I believe it's slightly different for other Semitic languages. So remember last time we talked about 3 close siblings of Ge'ez language, Tigrinya, Tigre, and Amharic. Remember Tigrinya and Tigre were a bit more closer to Ge'ez than Amharic. So in these 2 languages, there could potentially, because they use the same alphabet as the Ge'ez Fidel, so there could potentially be a slight difference in how they pronounce their 2 different as and their 3 different has. So I can't speak for that. I don't have that depth of a knowledge on that area, but I do know that they have this kind of pronunciation, which I believe would read in one of their as something. So yeah, Tigra and Tigrinya could have a slightly different explanation to their duplicates, but in Amharic, there absolutely is no difference on how you pronounce it as well as read it. It's just because of an influence we still have from Ge'ez. A native eye would prefer a certain Fidel on certain words. Now let's get to those pronunciations that got to you initially. So pretty much like most languages, we have our own, native, slightly intimidating sounds in Amharic Fidel. Those are what kind of differentiates a native speaker with a non-native speaker, or a beginner, an intermediate with a native speaker, right? You gotta pronounce those native pronunciations as best as you can to not sound non-native. So which of these are the native sounds to Amharic, the explosives? So as you can see above, marked red are the native and slightly challenging Amharic Fidels regarding pronunciation. So let's do the first one. Spelled Q-E, pronunciation, ah. Now, the sound is happening right around the beginning of your throat, right? The last part of your tongue, basically. So you kind of make a friction kind of sound there. So it's a very hard ka. Ka also does the same thing. The sound is around the last part of your tongue and the beginning of your throat. But with ka, the click, the friction is a bit more, right? So take your time and very slowly start with ah, ah. You got it. It might not come immediately, but with a little bit of practice, you'll get there. When I say not native, not native, and everything, I'm not making it seem complicated and unachievable. It just needs practice. It's basically like learning a pronunciation of any other language. It takes time, it takes practice, but you'll definitely get there. The other click or unique pronunciation is spelled capital letter T-E. Ta, ta. Now this is a hard ta, just a regular ta, but more fierce, more hard. It's like your tongue is touching the upper part of your mouth, except it's not as loose as ta. It's a bit more fierce. Ta. So relax and try saying ta, ta. You got it. Next up is spelled capital letter C-H-E, cha. Now this is a hard cha, just cha, but the sound is happening around your teeth, but your teeth is touching one another a bit more loose when you say cha. But for cha, you're popping in air a bit more fierce, and your teeth are touching one another a bit more fierce. So once again, relax and try saying ch, 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 cha, cha. Very good. Perfect. Next up is spelled capital letter P-E. So this is like a loose pe, but it's more of a pop sound, right? The sound is happening on your lip, but for pe, it's just a very loose touching of one another of your lips, pe, but it's more fierce and you blow out an air real fierce for pe. It almost sounds like a wine bottle opening. I mean, there's a hint of it there. So anyway, so once again, slowly try saying bah, bah. Very good. So we just have one more. We have 5 that are usually challenging for my non-native Amharic speakers, Amharic students. So the very last one is a bit of a fierce sa, just a regular sa. But this is once again happening around your teeth, and it's more about the air that's coming through the openings of your teeth. For sa, it's like air is coming out, not as fierce. But for sa, you gotta go like the teeth is touching one another a bit more strongly, and also air is blown out through the opening of your teeth a bit more fierce. So try saying sa, sa. Very good. I'm sure you've done very good. Once again, I'd like to say it takes practice. You'll get there. There are extremely fluent people that are nowhere near native, that do not have an Ethiopian blood. So with practice, you will absolutely get there. Okay, So let's have a quick recap of the first sounds, the first Amharic Fidels. So basically their grammatical presentation, their grammatical name is Ge'ez, of course, our parent language, our very wise, graceful older brother. So just a quick explanation on the first sounds. You can expect a kind of suffix vowel, a. Okay, so notice the gray marked fidels, they have kind of suffixes. Those are exceptions. Those are exceptions. The majority of the rest of the ge'ez or first sounds, they end with kind of thing. So the three has and the two as, they end with kind of suffix vowel or pronunciation, but the remaining le, me, se, you can skip, go to je, ye, de, che, pe. All the others, other than the 5 marked gray, are kind of pronunciation. So expect first sounds to be around the end. Moving on to second sounds, the ka'ib fidels. So as you can see, every vowel that existed earlier changed into oo. Ooh, ooh. So it became who, lu, mu, su. I'm going to skip a few and go to, I don't know, ku, chu, bu, fu, poo. I'm sure you're finding this very easy, especially as compared to those explosives we did earlier. This should be easy. So you change your vowel that was very rarely but a lot of the time on your first sound, all to oo. Okay? Great. Moving on to the third fidels. Now your vowel becomes e, he, li, me, be, he, chi, si, fi, p, right? So they're all e. I've used double E because mostly in English, feel, see, heal, mostly we use EE to represent the C sound. So I hope third sound, silis, is clear. So moving on to fourth sounds, rabbit. Now everything is going to be ah. Remember the 5 gray exceptions we saw in the first sound? They're going to stay ah, so we have another duplicate. Not only the 3 has, the 2 as, the 2 ses, and the 2 ses are duplicates, but we also have 5 other duplicates whose first and fourth sounds are the same. Don't let this get to you, because in Amharic, it doesn't apply as much. Once again, just the native eye prefers certain fidels on certain words. But for a beginner, for an intermediate, and for a basic communication, it's okay to use any of the fidels so long as you know what sound to write. Okay? So moving on to the fourth sound, everything turns into ah. So ha, ma, sa, ra, ta, cha, ta, sa, fa, pa. I'm skipping around because I think you understand the concept, so I'm not doing the whole thing, but you need to stick with the vowel ah, okay? Moving on to the fifth sound, hamis. Now it becomes a, right? Your suffix vowel or pronunciation becomes a. So lay, say, te, ne, ke, ze, te, say, fe, pay, right? Because of words like pay, may, I was more inclined towards using ay. hope that's relatable and catchy. Perfect. Moving on to sig sounds. Now, these are very interesting. We need to talk about these as deep as possible. So these fidels are the most common fidel in Amharic language, and most of the words that we have, noun, verb, adjective, any of the parts of speech. This is the most dominant sound, and it does not have an official vowel tagged to it. Okay? So when you say it alone, it kind of has this h, kind of pronunciation, or l kind of pronunciation. But when it comes in a word, it's almost without vowel. Okay? So h, l, m, ch, k, h, t, s, f, p, things like that. But we're kind of ending it with a kind of thing, only because we're pronouncing these alone. Okay? When we pronounce them in a word, especially when they come around the end, they're completely without vowels. They kind of cut short. Okay? So if you've ever experienced writing on your computer in Amharic, if you, for example, just open your Amharic keyboard and type H, you will not find the first sound. You're not going to find ha. You're going to find h, the symbol for h. So this specific sound, the sadis, is so common that even Amharic keyboard is prepared in a way that on your first touch, it's going to be the sixth sound. But if you want any shift, if you want to switch to a first sound, second sound, third sound, you know what vowel to touch, right? And then it converts the symbol to whatever sound you want. Next video, we're going to go so deep into forming words that you will all be able to write your name and see what your name looks like in Amharic. Okay, so stay tuned for my next video. So coming back to sixth sound, it is extremely important sound in Amharic Fidel. Okay, so moving on to the seventh sound, sabe. Another easy one. It's just the vowel converts into o, 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 ho, mo, so, cho, nyo, zo, to, so, fo, po, right? So all the vowels we've been playing with will all be converted into o kind of sound here. Wonderful. Now moving on to the eighth, which has a slightly different explanation to it. So this is mostly not even present in Amharic posters that has all the Fidel. Most of my students go like, it's we've never heard of that. My poster, they usually show me a poster they have in their house saying like, I have that. It doesn't have 8. It only has 7. Is something wrong with mine? So no, these are a bit more advanced. They're the literal translation of the Amharic name they have is complicated sounds because they're kind of a bit longer. Their suffix pronunciation, their suffix sound is wa. It's not just a vowel. It has W with it. Wa kind of thing, right? So not all the Fidels have this pronunciation, have this sound. So we have around 11 of the Amharic Fidels do not have an 8th sound, okay? But the remaining 23, they have an 8th sound. So this is basically an addition of wa kind of sound on your Amharic. This is basically the addition of a wa kind of suffix pronunciation on your first sound is, okay? It doesn't even have a name. You saw earlier that it's a ... It doesn't even have a grammatical name. It's not used as common, but it still exists in the language. So whenever you want to practice it, whenever you want to use it, it'll be moi, soi, quoi, toi, quoi, joie, gwa, twa, swa, fwa kind of thing. Okay? Perfect. So that right there is all you have to know about Amharic Fidel pronunciation-wise. We're going to do a detailed video on how you can write these. I know they look like an art. I know the Fidels are so beautiful, but you kind of feel like that's a painting. I can't do that. I know a lot of my students are intimidated by Amharic, the Fidel and everything, but I can tell you how easy it is. So yeah, I'll prepare a detailed video on how you can easily be able to write Amharic. But pronunciation wise, understanding the history, understanding how it was organized and put together, and everything should be well presented by this video. I hope you found it very interesting. I hope you found it clear. You can put on the comment section if you have any question, any part you want me to deep dive on, any part that I didn't explain all that well. You can let me know. I'll be sure to get back to you or do another video in depth if I find it to be suitable for all the audiences as well. So wonderful. I thank you so much for giving me the time and the attention. And I thank you for taking the time to learn Amharic as well. It's a beautiful language. Your time is being well spent, trust me. And you will be able to master Amharic Fidel in no time. Next video is going to be word creation. We're going to practice creating words, writing words, reading words. So we're going to deep dive on words next time. So stay tuned once again. I thank you so much for your time once again. Have a lovely time. And this is ቋንቋ ተራ.